taking the breaks in the weather when we get them, and this is a part of the journey when my brassicas finally get in the ground. When we're thinking about the journey of gardening and growing, it doesn't seem that long ago since I was actually harvesting my cabbages, and here I am again getting ready to actually put these out in the ground. Now, I have done a lot to get this ready. Obviously, I've actually sown the seeds, I've potted them on, and then I've created this nice little cage here, especially for my brassicas. Now, where I've actually put this is right by the hedge, and that does mean that I do get a little bit of variation within this growing area in terms of the amount of light that I actually get. So I have got quite a nice variety of my leafy veg. I have got some beautiful red savoys to actually go out this year. My green savoys, I have got round hedge, which are nice for actually creating things like coleslaw. I've got the greyhound, and then I actually have my calibres as well. I also at home in the greenhouse have some cauliflowers. Now with these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cabbages on my right hand side here, which is near the hedge, and then I'm going to put my calibres and my cauliflower on the left hand side. Now again, this is because of the light situation. What will happen is as the day goes on, this side is actually going to be more sheltered and more shady, whereas this is actually going to be exposed to more sunlight. So my cauliflowers and my calibres are going to get most of the sunlight, whereas my cabbages are going to be sort of in that dappled shade, but they will get light as the sun moves around. So knowing your growing areas is really, really important. So these are a really nice size, and even though we are in February and we are still at risk of some frost, actually these are really hardy. They have been growing and been quite happily sat in my unheated greenhouse since I actually potted them on and actually initially sowed them right the way back in sort of October, November time. These are going to withstand anything, although obviously if you are worried, you can always put some fleece over the top. Beast from the East back in 2018, I did panic a little bit, put fleece over my cabbages, but actually they were absolutely fine. They didn't really need it, and I think I got colder than my veggies actually did. So very simply, what I've done in here, this is historically a no-dig area, and because I've actually treated this area really, really nicely, I'm not going to go right the way back to the basics of putting the cardboard down because the soil in here is already really good. What I have done though is given it an extra layer on top of some really nice peat-free compost, just so that any of those nutrients which are in the compost itself will actually feed down into the soil and to the roots of my plants. Now on these allotment sites, what we also have is club root. However, since I've been doing no dig in this area, I have not had a problem with that. If you do, what you can do obviously is no dig. I would always suggest as your best organic go-to, or you can actually put lime into your soil. I'm not a fan of that. Or just make sure that you are actually planting the roots of your veggies about 5 centimeters or 5 to 12 centimeters in depth, because the club root is actually more on the surface than it is actually right the way down where your roots are, which sounds a bit bizarre because of the name club root. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start to get these babies into the ground, and I've got my dibber ready. So very simply, I'm just going to take some of my really, really good ones. Now obviously they've got the true leaves, and then they've got their secondary leaves as well. These are ready to go, and they're quite a nice size as well. If they're any smaller than this, I might be holding off a little bit longer. So all I'm going to do is dib the hole to start off with, nice and deep, and we're going about 30 centimeters between each of the plants, because obviously they're small at the moment, but they are going to get a lot bigger. So once I've done that, I'm just going to squeeze the pot, tip it upside down, and there's my lovely little plant right there. And these are my red savoys. They don't look red at the moment, but they will be. And then just pop it into the hole and press around it. So it's really simple. It's just our normal way of planting out, making sure that you are actually bedding these plants in. Now it's been raining quite a bit, so this soil is already quite wet. So what I'm not going to do is, on this first bit, I'm not actually going to water them in. They're going to find their own way, and we are due some more rain. So actually, I don't want them to get waterlogged. They need a bit of that free draining soil, although again, they need those nutrients, which this nice layer of peat-free compost is going to give to them. So just the rest of my red cabbages to do here, the rest of these to do, and again, just keeping an eye on it. This frame is going to make it so much easier this year because I've got the drawer, I can just easily get in and out, and I'm going to be able to look after these cabbages and these nice leafy veggies a lot better, and they're going to be very, very happy in here, or at least they should be.